Boom shakalaka, the Bitcoin chart I've been waiting for, and I cannot believe my eyes. Stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, we're going to take a look at the chart that I have been waiting for, and why I can't believe my eyes. Before we get into it, guys, like the video, join us on Twitter at the Crypto Love, and of course, subscribe to the OG Bitcoin and Crypto YouTube channel, making daily videos for over 7 years. Now, today, fear and greed at 75, down to normal greed from extreme greed, which we were in for pretty much a month. Now back to normal greed. People are not as excited. The overall market sideways after a couple days of losses. Bitcoin at 93,576, Ethereum at 34.23, Solana 233, BNB 621, XRP 146, Dogecoin 39 cents, Cardano 99 cents, and Avalanche 43.57. Now, Bitcoin, after finding rejection at $100,000, which we talked about was a very likely possibility, it did fall back down to roughly the 78.6 fib level, which is coincidentally the middle of this wedge that Bitcoin is sitting in, pretty much dead center for that wedge. Now, coming up quickly, we have the 21 EMA, which has been support for Bitcoin pretty often in this run-up, but should it break through there, there's also a 61.8 fib, about $87,000, and also the bottom of that wedge, closer to $84,000. It should be noted that there are some support on the volume profile right here, right around $90,000, $91,000, should price go any lower than it is right now. But it looks like there might be some consolidation going on where price is. Now, was this a surprise? No. As a matter of fact, a few days before the price started tumbling, we did point out this chart by Crypto Rover where there was a bearish divergence. Now, it didn't seem very likely at that point because, hey, we were right around $100,000. This is when price was $98,000. But go figure, you have a bearish divergence with higher tops on the price and then higher highs on the price and lower highs on the RSI. You have that happen, eventually price comes down. We're seeing that for pretty much a 10% drop in price. Now, this is the chart that I've been waiting before because there's no such thing as a dip in the bull market unless you get a chart like this, where if you can't handle a 20% dip, you don't deserve a 1,000% pump. That's true. I mean, if you can't handle it, you're not gonna get the 1,000% pump, but it's just part of the course. I mean, look at all these times the price dips 20 to 40%, and it just happens over and over again. If this is your first rodeo, welcome. You just hang in there, just hodl, and eventually, 6 to 10 years, you'll look back and say, thank goodness I did. Now, the reasons for this, we do have the heaviest profit taking we have seen so far this cycle. Now, that's not to say that at the end of the cycle, by no means does it look like that on any charts. But long-term holders have distributed 60 billion worth of supply in the last 30 days. Out of all the long-term holder supply since the FTX bottom, 21% or a fifth of it happened in November. Again, the heaviest profit taking that we have seen so far this cycle, similar to what we saw back in March. Also, coincidentally, some other reasons why price goes down, because maybe if you haven't been in this for a while, you might not know. Well, here's the serious answer to why price goes down. The higher we go, the more liquidity gets trapped, especially leveraged positions buying capital that needs to be released. Short-term traders taking profits, VCs and institutional investors reducing positions due to relative overweight of their Bitcoin and other crypto assets in their portfolios. Investors and longer-term swing traders swing their positions aiming to buy lower, scared retail buying the top who sell when price reapproaches $98,000. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why price crashes. But you know what? You only get hurt when you jump off the roller coaster. As long as you just sit on it, it's still kind of fun. Now, with the price going down, Bitcoin now hash rate has hit a new all-time high. And as price follows hash rate, that means the price is also due for some new all-time highs, especially when you compare that with the liquid supply of Bitcoin dropping off a cliff. There is a massive supply shock coming. What that means is that all of a sudden, when people realize once again that Bitcoin is the best performing asset of the last 10 to 15 years, and that inflation is destroying any other type of money that you have out there, and everybody runs to Bitcoin, guess what? It's just not available. And that is just going to think back to what happened with toilet paper at the beginning of COVID. It's going to be the same type of scenario. There's going to be nothing left on the shelves. Now, Bitcoin is so far over the past 2 months has been up 50% in the past 60 days. Now, interestingly enough, this has happened 120 times since 2015. So in 50 days or in 60 days, Bitcoin goes up 50%. Happened 120 times in the past 12 years. Well, on average, this is what happens next. Bitcoin goes higher 67% of the time. So there's a 2/3 chance that Bitcoin is still going to go up, even though prices dropped a little bit. Because it went up 50% in the last 60 days, 2 out of 3 times it's going to go up. The median gain was 35%. The median loss was 9%. Using historical seed values, the expected value for Bitcoin in 60 days, which would be what's now, end of November, December, end of January, the expected value for Bitcoin in 60 days would be $107,000 with a 2/3 chance of $130,000 by the end of January. Remember, we do have this gigantic inverse head and shoulders. And even with this dip, guess what? Bitcoin just came back down towards the neckline, maybe just retesting that neckline before taking off once again. If we take a look at this descending broadening wedge, you can see this is what happens with the pattern. The price is based on the size of the wedge at the last time from bottom to top. Guess what? Hit the intermediate target, the next target, $112,000. And that's just getting started, because if you take a look at the parabolic curve that Bitcoin has been in since the $15,000 bottom, when we were making videos back then and we were saying, hey, as bad as it is, this is probably close to the bottom. Well, after short-term surges, base scenario 200,000 until the end of year for 2025. Bull case $300,000 to $350,000 until the end of year 2025. And while that may just be based on a parabola, if we take a look at historic cases for Bitcoin, which I don't know if you see this right now, but take a look how perfectly Bitcoin is meeting up with these historic cases. The next time they meet would be the end of 2025, and price would be roughly $250,000 per Bitcoin. Holy freaking cow, that's still over a 2.5x. And that's only this cycle, because from this cycle, it looks like we might hit 250, 280, 300, something like that. Again, nobody knows. These are all just price predictions. No one that I know of can predict the future. But if you zoom out another 4 years, another 4 years after that, again, remember, they're not printing any more Bitcoin, but they are printing a lot more money. Bitcoin, 800,000, 1.8 million, because guess what? Infinity dollars divided by 21 million is still infinity, which is the true price of Bitcoin. So that's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, like the video, join us on Twitter, @TheCryptoLove, subscribe to the channel, and also YouTube says watch that video right there. I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.